Hey everyone, I wanted to make a video to walk you through what you do after you have finished your appointment. So here, we've already walked through what you do when you arrive to an appointment. Now we will go through completing an appointment. There are two ways you can do this after you're done. You can create your journal first, send it, and then hit complete. Or you can hit complete first and then send your journal. I'm going to hit complete first just so the timer stops running for this appointment and so that the app stops tracking my movements. So it is one thing you do want to make sure you are aware of is that when you are at an appointment, so when you hit the arrive button, the app will track you with where you are on a map and sort of, create a line with your route and where you're going. And so when you hit complete, that tracking stops, and it will stop until you hit the arrive button again somewhere else. So if you want to conserve battery power, if you just need the app to stop tracking you because you parked far away, you can hit complete first and then complete the journal after you hit complete. Note that if you are in the middle of your day and you hit complete and you don't create a journal, for most clients, you won't be able to hit arrive at your next appointment until you make a journal entry. In cases where the client is home, all you have to do is you can do a very basic entry where you note that the dog peed, pooped, and you can just put in the comments that the client is home. That's perfectly fine. In this way, you fulfill your requirement to create a journal entry so that you can start your next appointment. It doesn't have to be long. In most other cases, you want to be a little bit more straight. You want to give more detail. So you don't have to create a journal title. If you don't, it will make the title just whatever the appointment is for today. So it'll say like 30-minute walk, midday, and what the date is. If you want to add a title, go for it. It shows a bit more creativity, and it seems like a small thing, but clients do appreciate these sorts of things. So, one of the things you want to do is you can use these checkboxes to quickly go through all the basics of pee and poop. If you had to give medication, you can do that. If you had to feed them lunch or dinner or breakfast, you can do that. Anything else that you did, you can click, 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 click. And then you can use the notes section to create more of a narrative, or just say, hey, we had a great walk, or give the client a heads up about something like they were walking weird, I noticed they were licking at a spot, or if you have to tell them that the poop looked runny, or anything like that, you can use that in the notes. And then you can add a few photos. I would say as a good rule, if you don't put in much in the way of notes, you should have like 3 or 4 photos that you're sending the client. If you have more of a narrative, you can get away with fewer photos. So try to use that as kind of your standard. If you're not going to write much in the way of notes, make sure you have more pictures. If it is a day or an appointment where you do need to give more notes, you could do just one picture, and that's fine. So let me write my notes, and then I will finish up and show you how this looks. Okay, so I have written out some notes for the client, and I have added some pictures. In this case, the dog I was walking actually got sick, so I threw in a couple pictures of where she had thrown up. I wanted to show you a few extra things. So again, you have all these checklists to help take care of all the basics, and then you can use the notes section for more of your narrative version. of your recap. And again, this can be shorter than usual if it's a pretty normal day. And then I would suggest you add more photos. Few things to note. Precise Pet Care limits you to 5 photos per entry, so you can't like upload 8 of them. So just be aware of that. You could create another journal entry for more just for photos, but you'd only be able to do 5 at a time. If you picked a photo you didn't mean to pick, you can actually tap on it and remove it, and that works out just fine. So if there's anything you needed to remove, you could, and then choose it. Now just bear in mind, whatever you choose will go to the bottom of the list, and there's not really any way to move these around. So just be mindful. And whatever photo is number 1 is actually going to be the cover photo for your journal entry. So pick your best photo, the photo that you want to be the biggest, first, and then go on down the line. So that is one other thing that I wanted to give you as a tip in terms of creating these recaps. When you add the photos, pick the one you want to be the cover photo first, and then pick the rest of them, because the system will upload them in the order that you chose them, not necessarily the order that you took them. So now that I've gotten everything done, I've looked it all over, I can just email the client. And if I'm in an area like I am now where I have not very great cell service, it will wait until I have better cell service to send this recap, just like it would if you were emailing it and you had crappy cell service. So once I get into a better area, I can tap to resend it, and then it'll all be done. So that's how you send a recap.